Hey. All right. Okay, I'll call a meeting to order. Roads Advisory Committee meeting for June 24th. So we'll do a little roll call here. John Steele.
Here.
Jim Cox, no. Richard Daniel. John Durkin. Matthew Ettinger. Michael Garcia. And Curtis Kelly and myself. Good. We have a quorum. Good. Please stand for flag salute. Pledge allegiance. Yep. I do have a card for Mr. Blagden. Please step up.
Stephen Blagden, Citron Road. I wanted to talk about the PCI report. I was pleasantly surprised to see that about 2/3 of the street segments are at about 75 or above, which is kind of consistent with we're still about 1/3 of the streets left to do in the next 3 projects. The last column on the report, is that supposed to be like when the last work was done? Yeah, that needs some looking at. I mean, it's not 100% critical, but I know as an example, mine, Citron Road, it had it, I think, 1982, the last time work was done, but it had a 5-inch grind and overlay in 2001. And then I noticed some other ones that listed an earlier date, and they were done, some in this AD7. So to the extent that that matters, might check that out. And so saying that the 3 projects left can get the rest of the roads. The only, I guess you call it extra or one not covered in AD7 is the roads that were done in the 17-18 project, Reposado, Lamont, Papaya, and a couple of others. They're in great shape because they were done in 2019, relatively great shape. But those people paid into Assessment District 7, so they need to get something. And by the end of the time, those roads will have been done almost 10 years, so they need at least a slurry seal. And then, as I've mentioned before, it'd be good to combine the projects to get some economy of scale. And I don't know if you can legally borrow from the future so that, this year, this fiscal year, there'll be enough money to do 2 road projects, 25, 26, and 26, 27. But if you wanted to combine all 3, I don't know if you can borrow from the general fund the money and then pay it back when the gas tax and Prop A and Measure R and M and those all come in, or if you're not allowed to do that. If you are allowed to do it, it'd be worth exploring. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comments we're aware of? No? Okay, good. If you go through the minutes of May 27th, please, give me a review. Okay, do I have a motion to accept them? A second, okay. Yea or nay, John Steele? Yes. Richard Daniel? No? Oh, he's not here. Okay. John Durkin? Yes. Matt Edinger? Yes. Michael Garcia? Yes. Curtis? Yes. And I say yes. Okay, meeting minutes are accepted as written. Okay, administrative items. I guess the guardrails.
Guardrails, they are with Caltrans, so plans have been completed. We put together a schedule of bid items for Caltrans. They asked one question of the engineer, and they're currently reviewing and waiting for our E76, which is their environmental and ready to bid process that they go through. So as soon as we get the okay from them, then we would be able to bid the project. So they say that sometimes can take 2 to 3 months to make it through that process. For the signal, it was about almost 2 months. So hopefully soon we should be hearing something from them, Caltrans, whether we're good to go or if there's more questions.
You said it was CalSTAR review?
Out to Caltrans for review, yeah.
Okay. All right, good. The funding, so we still have, but this year, next year, is part of the assessment left, right?
Yeah, so we have a couple of years, and there's been some discussion at the committee and council about, how we should potentially look at projects for the future. Do we want to do another 2-in-1 combined, or we've heard maybe the next 3 years in one, that type of project to look at if we wanted to do a little more. Obviously, I know when we get to kind of the next item there's the PCI report has been completed for the PMP. So it gives us an idea of where the condition of the streets are. They're working on the full pavement management program right now, the whole written report. That hasn't come in yet, hopefully soon, but I sent out the PCI report so the committee can just kind of get an early look at what's left, what the street segments are at, and how we've been doing, and it gave us an overall rating there. But it's kind of that. If we're would the committee like us to explore a little further? You wanted us to look at maybe doing 2 projects in one again, like we did this last one, where we received a little better price on unit quantities for tonnage and grind, or do we want to just do a project, do another project, and do another project to get us through this latest assessment district?
Yep, okay. Yeah, so as we say, you get a preliminary PMP, and the good news was the average PCI is 83.5, which was well above a lot of our expectations, right?
I was surprised at the number when we got it. I wasn't quite expecting in the 80s. I was hoping for upper 70s, but it did come back at 83.5 is our PCI number. So that's a pretty good number for us. I know as part of the District 7, we were trying to get to PCI of 75, so we've been able to exceed that, which is pretty good, and that's really been the last few years worth of work. We can kind of seen the last time the streets were surveyed were back in 2022, so over that chunk of years we've done quite a few projects, and you can definitely see that improvement in the PCI score, because the last time we did it, we were 73.5, 72. And the time it was done before that in 2019 when we really started, we were at a 67. So we were pretty far down the scale as far as PCI. So we've come quite a ways in a relatively short period of time.
So out of the spreadsheet we did get from the preliminary PMP, I extracted the sheet you have in front of you. I extracted those roads that had a PCI between 46, 59, which are rated poor. So, and I put down not only the PCI, but the square footage so we can get an idea of the extent of the work there. I'm assuming all of these are going to require grind and overlay. I mean, if they're rated poor. So we're talking significant work here. The only problem I have with these zones 3, 4, and 5, of course, on the east side, the floor is on the west side. So that may prove a complication if we want to do all in one. But I would love to see if we can get all of these done in the next project, which probably will combine two and one, I would assume. So we're talking upwards around $2 million again, okay? But we have to get the estimates in from Buckner yet, I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, once we get the full PMP, it'll give us some projections and some treatments for those streets. Typically, when you're down into the poor category of PCI, the recommendation is grind and overlay. You're sort of past that point of doing like slurry seal. It's not really worth doing the slurry seal to it. It's better to grind and overlay. The last project, we did have things in a few different areas, and sometimes we look at those projects with contractors and think that there may be an additional cost to like remobilize, to move equipment from one side of town to the other side of town. But it wasn't that bad. I mean, we did a lot of work from like the bottom to the top of the east side of town, and there wasn't a significant change to what we would normally see from mobilization from the contractor, which is good because, you know, they did have to pick up and move equipment, move grinders, move the paving machines from one area to the next, to be able to get it there where it's not just all in one little clustered area where they can kind of stay, just work in that one area. So I don't think it would be too painful to be able to do things sort of across the board. The LaFleur definitely needs some.
Yeah, and from what I've seen and the feedback I've got from some of the residents, they have done an excellent job on that last project too. Anybody have any comments about this? No? Do we have any guesstimates if we can get this all done in one project?
I was looking at the numbers you had pulled out, like square footage wise for grind and overlay. The last project we did a little over like 430,000 square feet of grind and overlay. Similar amount of grind and overlay. We did run into a lot of really deteriorated areas, especially like Dorothea and the section of East Road we did, where we had a lot of dig out, a lot of R&R. It would just be looking at it a little closer, probably when Gerald is in, looking at some of those areas. There's sections of the floor where we know where like the edge of the roadway is bad and it's going to need some real deep grind and overlay and or some other work to it. So like LaFleur definitely is going to need some heavy R&R in certain areas to accomplish a goal of a good street project and make sure the water flows correctly over there. It's a big one on the floor. Some of those areas, the water kind of flows in weird directions. We need to sort of make sure we get it going into the drainage areas that are there today to make sure it's not eroding the hillsides. We've seen some of that through the big rainstorms we've had recently.
Yeah, I know, well, a few months ago, we had a resident here from LaFleur who was begging us to take care of that. And I have had a couple of, I'd say, unsolicited feedback that the two areas that were really bad too is Vista and Avocado Crest that people are really concerned about. So, but I recommend we try to go for this whole shot in one project, because if we get this done, we're going to be mostly in the maintenance mode, and we can look at slurry seal and so forth. And I don't know if we'll need another assessment after this or not, but that's yet to be seen.
Yeah. As we look at the full pavement management report, it'll give us a better idea as to that the long-term projections for it. But it would be nice to get to a point where we can move more maintenance and move more into slurry and crack seal versus heavy grind and overlays. There's still some segments out there that have a decent PCI to them that were just slurry that will need some attention in the future. And there's sections of East, sections of West that have some underlying areas that need to be ground and overlaid to them. Those, especially West Road. West Road got slurry pretty much across the most of it, except for the very, very far west side of West Road got ground and overlay. Sort of that area from Hillcrest down around to our city border there.
Well, plus drainage too. I mean, I'm sure we're going to be confronted with a lot of that, maybe having to do some rip-rap and that kind of stuff, so.
It might be nice to, yeah, move more into some of the drainage improvements versus just grind and overlay.
When will we get the final report?
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. They're working on it right now. They had a couple of questions about funding sources that we provided some additional information to them on, and they're trying to wrap up the report and finalize all the projections. So once we get it, we'll send it out so you guys can take a look at it, and we'll also schedule Peter Bucknam to come in and give a presentation on it and kind of walk you through the PMP and the proposed work that they usually do in there.
You think we'll have that next meeting?
I'm hopeful we'll have it ready for next meeting.
Okay. Yeah, because schedule-wise, because then, if we can get that, we make a recommendation, city council, and go into design then. So hopefully by the end of December, we can start a project.
Mm-hmm.
Any other comments, questions? No? Any non-agenda items? You guys are going to go easy tonight, huh?
I thought we'd be here a little long talking about PCI numbers and percentages and.
Well, no, it's great news. I mean, I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw that number. Okay, so I guess the next meeting is July 22nd.
It will be early again, like this one at 4:30.
4:30? Okay.
It will be the Sheriff's Department's swing band will be performing on the 22nd.
Say that again?
The Sheriff's Department has a swing band that does swing music, so they will be performing on the 22nd.
Okay. I got a question. We had this little brush fire last Monday up on the other side of Colima Road.
Yes.
I received no notifications from, I think there's 3 different apps or so forth I'm subscribed to, and I got nothing from any of them, right? So.
Are you subscribed to the city's, like our Nixle alert, emergency alert one?
I think so.
That one. So we did put out a Nixle. I forget the exact time we put it out, but after we got a better idea of where it was going, the direction it was burning, and what was happening in their overall plan, we put out a Nixle. It was, at that time, they had slowed the progress. There really wasn't any forward progress on our side of Colima at that time. It was burning on the other side of Colima towards Hacienda Heights, sort of like northwest at that particular time, but they had closed Colima. So Hacienda then became like super impacted because Colima was closed. So it was probably around like somewhere between 5:30 and 6 o'clock we put out that Nixle to kind of let people know that, no fire threat for us and traffic's going to be impacted on Hacienda.
I received that at 4:59.
4:50. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we were, Chief was out to the command post and also overlooking kind of closer to where your area was over there. You can sort of see across to where it was on Colima. We don't have a word on what may have caused it or what happened over there, but did start right off of Colima, and it started burning both sides of Colima at first, and then they were able to slow the east side of Colima towards us pretty quickly, and then they were letting it sort of burn up the hill to the ridge line on the west side of Colima, and they had 2 water dropping helicopters attacking it. So they were, we had activated the hell hydrant for them, so the hell hydrant was on and full. I believe they were pulling water out of the Friendly Hills Country Club lakes over there off the golf course over off Friendly Hills because it was real close to where the fire was. And so the 2 helicopters were out. They had one of the like super scoopers flying really high in the air. You can see them flying real high to kind of get the good overview of it. And they did bring out the big C-130. The big C-130 was out for a minute and made a few passes around to just kind of get a lay of the land and see if they needed them to drop some retardant. But they ended up not. They sent that one back to its home base, and they just attacked it with the two water dropping helicopters.
Actually, one of those fire retardant dropping vehicles did drop.
Did it drop?
Yeah, I've got photographs of it.
Yeah, I took a video of one of the drops. That's 30, and I took a photo. So it looked to me like it started, on the west side of Colima. Was it close to the Pescadero hiking trail there, or was it above that?
From what I know, it was slightly above it.
Okay. Yeah. So did our fire department get involved there?
We didn't, we just geared up and got ready. So they moved into ready position and we went over and activated the hell hydrant for the county air ops. But they didn't need us to move into it. They had some other surrounding engine companies that came out.
Yeah. Were you guys tuned into the Firewatch team channel?
Not on the Firewatch channel.
Okay.
So I didn't listen to any of the.
Because I got involved.
the
I was
radio.
on the way home and got off the 60 freeway, and by the time I got the Hacienda Road, it was starting to clog up, and that was before 4 p.m. So I got home probably just before they started the water drops, the helicopters. I counted at least 10 water drops and I think 2 fire retardant drops, yeah. They did a great job, the helicopters, they did a great job. I mean, they extinguished the flames within a half an hour, from what I've seen. So, thank goodness for them.
Yeah, and thankfully the wind was blowing that northwest direction that day too, which was a benefit for us.
Yeah, it was good. Good.
I don't have the total.
5.5. Total was 5.5. Yeah. It started off pretty small. But, was it at the half of that? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's property they own or property they manage some land that's owned by City of Whittier over there. So I don't know if it's property they own or just property they manage.
Okay. That's all I got. You guys have anything? No? Okay, make this quick and dirty then. All right. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.